Plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation. Saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating. Ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation.
Rejoice in tribulations, demonstrate patience in every situation, picking up the pieces to their heart restoration. People broken hearted and in need of salvation. We in captivity, we done lost our history, disconnected from his laws, now there's no integrity. Here's the book and let them see, because they dying in these streets, walking in darkness, and where the carcass is, the eagles be. Walking in darkness and where the carcass around us like vultures, murder on their mind when they approach us. Let your light shine, watch them scatter like roaches. Babylon falling cause we taking back our culture. Heal our land, Abba now, put us back in agriculture. This word burning them up, Romans is a flamethrower. We prophesy destruction, nukes coming, game over. International, continental, ballistic missile. Them bombs dropping like rain, no drizzle. The lake of fire make them sizzle, showing fruits of the spirit. We don't gather figs of thistles. That's the dog, you know, so just like you were saying,
Hey, my name is Amani Bright Laws. I'm a travel business owner. My business is Always Shine Bright Travel, where we help you discover your next bright destination. I want to talk to you really quickly today about becoming a travel business owner. Listen, if your passion is traveling, if your passion is exploring the world, if your passion is wanting to travel and explore the world, then you should become a travel business owner, okay? I have 2 easy ways to get started. Less than 1 minute, okay? The first way, up here, our website, travelagentworkshop.com. And please use my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? The second way is a text code. Text the word workshop to the number 281-767-9711. And again, reference my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? Listen. The workshop is free. It's a free 3-day workshop, which gives you all the information on how to get started to become a travel business owner. Okay. Any questions that you have will get answered within that workshop. Okay. So let me meet you on the money making side of travel, where you can turn your passion into your paycheck.
Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Chef D-Nail. Over here, guess who's cooking? Good cooking, good eating, good living. Y'all know how we do it every Sunday about this time, man. We're going to get straight to it. We got the chicken and dumplings, all right? We got the perch fish with the mac and cheese, with the yams, with the 5 cheese toast over here on the Texas side. And, of course, we got the world-famous turkey tips, all right? We also got, on this one, we got the greens with the turkey tails, and we got the spaghetti. You already know what time it is, man. Hit the link, 992-4737 is the phone number to place your order every Sunday. All right. And you can hit us up on the Cash App to make payments at Guess Who's Cooking, the number 2. All right. You can hit the www.guesswho'scooking on the World Wide Web. You can catch us on Facebook Marketplace under Guess Who's Cooking. And, of course, on TikTok, man, at Guess Who's Cooking. Come on down. Get your orders.
Give me shame, I give you peace from underneath. Give me mind and being light to reignite. Can you open up the doors to let me in? Can you open up the doors to let me in? You could put the heart inside, don't touch my head. As I sing the love inside from out my mouth. Tell me what you need to find. Tell me now. Tell me what you need to find.
I know who I am today. And you can't lie to me no more. I'm a child of the Most High. And you the devil, the Bible speaks of. Set my people free. Yeah. Let them go. Let them go. Set my people free. Let them go. Let them go. Tell you the truth, this ain't living. Cause every time we step outside, it's attempted suicide, drive-bys and homicide. It's the everyday norm. Welcome to the eye of the storm, where we at war from the day we born to the day we die. Surrounded in the flesh, drowning in these lies from these white guys with these evil eyes towards our own kind, committing genocide. Sliding down the block, then the Glock pop, another brother gone. Tell me when it's gonna stop, cause it's so wrong. But Deuteronomy 28 and 54 will let you know it's all a curse. Plus, we've been systematically played against each other. Only way to conquer a nation is basic. Hope you realize the truth and face it. With the children of Jacob and his kingdom we taking. But this generation will never make it. We don't repent and turn back to the Most High as a nation. I know who I am today. And you can't lie to me no more. I'm a child of the Most High. And you the devil, the Bible speaks of. Set my people free. Yeah. Let them go. Let them go. Set my people free. Let them go. Let them go. Set my people free. All these other nations ever did was rape, rob, and murder us. Now generation after generation, we born into a sea of lies. With all praise to the Most High for opening up my eyes, and now I see the truth. Got me feeling magnificent. Yes, they hate us cause the drip is sick, but tell you the truth, if it wasn't for us, y'all wouldn't have shit. We that seasoned boy, yeah, the salt of the earth, and it's apparently clear through every verse. So it's Kwam Yashala too, I'm dead in the dirt. I'm taking away up in the chariot. I'm trying to lead my people to freedom like Harriet, or better yet like Moses did. Bible in one hand, sword in the other, go to war like a Maccabee. Praying mercy on my people, vengeance on my enemies. And I don't fear no man, cause I know them angels surrounding me. So go and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. Let my people go. I know who I am today. And you can't lie to me no more.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Mashiach, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Kom Yasha'Allah, rise Israel. Double honors to our elders, waking up the lost sheep of Israel in these last days. the lost sheep of Israel being the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that don't even know who they are. You know what I'm saying? I'm your host, Chassadyah, HOI Philadelphia, and my swordsman for today. Bring it out, King. You on mute.
This is Gabar Ash, HOI Philly, New York, New Jersey.
Tri-State, what's happening?
All praises. Shalom.
So this class is, it's going to say it's called It Takes More Than WAP. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about it. It takes more than WAP. You don't know what WAP is, we'll explain, and trying to get not too graphic, but in technical terms, but we're going to talk about it, so lock in, get your Bibles, pens, and papers, you know what I mean? And of course, I gotta say, fair use act. This class video is protected by the Fair Use Act. All right. But let's start off, of course, with the Lord's Prayer, Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13. But we're gonna say it in the Paleo Hebrew. All right. This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemcha, Yahweh, Malachaka, Thaba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemayim, Natananawa, Hum, Cow, Yawam, Wasalafnawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalafnawa, Kabawafinawa, Wala'a, Thabianawa, Manasai 1, Abal, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Watapalaraf, Lawilumyam, Man, Khan. All right.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right. So this class, like I said, it says it takes more than WAP. WAP is what some of our sisters believe is the only thing they need to get by, to succeed. Their level of success is based on the WAP, what they genitalia, what they can give, the only thing they got. You know what I'm saying? It's been told to them by their mothers, their girlfriends, TV, radio, just about the society in general. You know what I mean? I'm gonna run your bath water as soon as I get home from work. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's based around, as long as she got that WAP, she good. But as we can see, that WAP ain't keeping a man at home. It ain't keeping them there. It might attract them, but it's it ain't doing it. So let's get into the scriptures. All right, let's get Proverbs chapter 18 verse 22. And this is something, sisters should definitely take heed to what men say. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, some of our sisters will listen to their girlfriends that ain't got a man before they listen to a man that's telling them the same thing that all men pretty much be saying. You know what I mean? Like, listen to an expert. I've been a man my entire life. I think I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if somebody, you try to tell like an engineer, how do you do your job? And they start explaining their job, and you stop them like, nah, that's not right. But you never been an engineer a day in your life. You don't know nothing about engineering. Realistically, you might not even be able to spell the word engineer, but you're not listening to the expert that's talking about it. So this has really got to just leave that bitter loudmouth friend alone, because she's setting you up for failure. The Megan Thee Stallions of the world that will tell you everything about a man this and a man that, but she can't keep a relationship longer than 2-3 months. That's just not the way it's supposed to be. Now in America, of course, this is how it's set up. All right, but let's bring that out, King.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord.
A wife is a beautiful thing. A wife that is submissive. She listens. She's not over talking you. She's not bringing a whole bunch of drama to the table. Do you know what I mean? Every problem, she got a problem for every solution. You know what I mean? A woman that knows how to keep her household. You know what I'm saying? Knows how to keep her temperament. You know, that's a favor of the Lord. You know, that's a helpmeet. You know what I mean? You guys are a team. You guys are building. You know, you're building towards something. You know, not just tearing down everything everywhere you go and tearing down people everywhere you go. You know, that team is unstoppable coming from, you know, the world into the truth and knowing who you are, knowing what you could be, knowing what you were, and then like saying, I don't want nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? That type of woman is invaluable. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures talk about she's like a ruby, you know. But then on the other side of things, the woman that is just, you know, always got an attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like you just wake up with attitude, go to sleep with an attitude. You know, that's like, you know, the portion of a wicked woman is given to a wicked man. You know what I'm saying? So we also have to be able to definitely like court. You know what I'm saying? Get to know each other before we'll find ourselves sleeping together, and you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, find ourselves, wifing, you know what I'm saying? Like literally marrying a woman that is off as hell. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with a woman. You know what I mean? Just like the looks, you know, we're going purely based on looks, we're gonna have problems, you know. A majority, if not all of us, I'll say a large majority, come from traumatic backgrounds, and that's something you're gonna have to work out amongst yourself before you go into a relationship. Before you build with somebody, you gotta get yourself together. You know what I mean? If you still hurting, you still I mean everybody's building towards something, but if you're not ready to have a relationship, don't get in a relationship. You know, get yourself in order before you try, aim to ruin somebody's life. You know what I mean? And we know how nasty things can get domestically, violence. It doesn't always have to be violence, emotional, abuse, as well as physical abuse, takes place when you're not healed. So you want to give that to somebody else. You know what I mean? Let's get Ecclesiasticus 25:17. So a woman like Megan Thee Stallion, right? Cardi B, they both swear they got the WAP, but at the same time, jumping from man to man, you know what I mean? These high valued men, as they call it, don't want them. You know what I mean? So before Salakia. Sorry, I lost my point. But what I say, Megan Thee Stallion goes about talking, negatively about men, but it seems like she wants a man, because when she loses them, it's heartbreaking for her, and if she is in trauma, you can tell. That's why I got it. She's been through traumatic things. For somebody to be out there like, yo, I'm a whore, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me just shake my butt in front of the Democratic National Convention, you know what I'm saying? My whole life is based upon twerking, and you know what I'm saying. She really, you know, is going through it, but at the same time, she has a voice. So she's propelling herself. She's propelling her voice to other young women that are, you know, susceptible to her message. You know what I mean? And that's dangerous. You know, so she comes across as, you know, just a rapper, this, that, and the third. But if you teaching the littlest ones to sin, then, you know, God's gonna pay you back. You know what I mean? You already embarrass her, but at the same time, you know, that judgment could come swift, you know, and you know, hopefully the sister takes the time out. She says, I'm gonna take time out to myself, and that she takes time out and repents and comes back to the law, statutes, commandments. Because in reality, you know, she's always throwing up the Baphomet. You know what I mean? She's always you know, throwing up satanic signs. She had like devil's horns, look like she was a devil and everything. So they into that, you know. So right now we in the time where the Most High, you know, the Satan is coming to collect, and it's getting ugly. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Go ahead, Ken. You can bring it out.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 25, verse 17. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face, and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth.
So all the makeup in the world, you can't hide that. You know what I mean? If you're a wicked woman, it don't matter what your body looks like. It don't matter how much MAC makeup you got. It don't matter how long, you know, you got those 3 feet eyelashes. You know what I'm saying? none of that. You know what I'm saying? I can't Jones, man, but
It's crazy.
It is. Wait, what man said that looks cute? Yeah, I like that. No man ever. You know what I mean? No man I ever met. You know, so you know, when you had that in that dark place, you know what I'm saying? It's obvious. It's obvious. You know what I mean? And you make bad decisions. You make bad decisions on men. You know, you go to a place where you think a good man's gonna be, and you find a dog. You know what I'm saying? You find somebody that he's unhealed, and y'all get together, and once he dogs you out, you say, "Oh man, all men are terrible." No, your taste in men are terrible. You going to places where, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna find a decent man. You going to places where, you know, unhealed people gather, and when you find out that oh boy got, you know, 7 women on the side, all pregnant, not telling you about none of them, gonna take your credit card, spend it up, you know what I mean? Take your car, rob somebody with it and give it back to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Calling you, he get booked, calling you for bail money, and you know what I'm saying? And just ruining your credit, you know, you pick that dude, you know what I'm saying? So it's important to build yourself up and read these scriptures before, you know, you run into somebody that you can't get away from. And you like, you ain't leaving me. You know what I'm saying? Like you the best thing that happened to me, baby. You know, and then now you start getting into like domestic violence and things of that nature. You know, so like everybody got a WAP. You know, you're not bringing nothing to the table. You know what I mean? When women are like, you know, what do you bring to the table? Well, I am the table, but you and every other woman. You know what I'm saying? You got to stand out of this other field. You know, can you cook? Can you clean? You know what I'm saying? How are you? Right? Can you raise children? You know,
Most of them, no.
Unless you can't, you know, because women thinks that men ain't looking at these things. You know, they think we just, oh, as long as I give him some sex, he be all right. You know, nah, we looking to see how you move. You know, and brothers based upon how you act is how some brothers will treat you. You know what I mean? You see a sister walking down the street, she's covered up, got a head wrap on. Oh, how you doing, sister? You know, all right, good to see you. You know what I mean? Da da da. Might talk to you, might just to give you a compliment. I like that dress. Okay, yeah, da da da. Boom. But you see her walking around in some Megan Thee Stallion booty shorts, breast all out, bouncing all around, this and the third. It's like, oh, let's see what she doing tonight. You know what I mean? I'm not thinking about 10 years from now. I'm not thinking about 20 years from now, raising children, having grandchildren, this, that, and the third. Thinking about tonight. So you dress like you want a man, you know, you dressing a certain way, but you talking like you want a man for the future. You ain't gonna get it. It's not gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? Can you go bring verse 18 out?
Verse 18. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly.
Yeah, man. And that picture, I remember that video with Megan Thee Stallion just like, yeah, all right, just loud. And you could tell, you know, it's I guess it's music in the background, but she's going crazy. And Clay just sitting there like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like every man can read that on his mind, like, what the hell I just get myself into? Like,
right.
I really can't take her anywhere. You know what I mean?
That was in the beginning. That was in the beginning of the relationship.
I'm surprised it lasted this long. You know,
right?
Because every man seeing that is like, oh, he ain't with this. You know, he might have been enjoying the festivities, but he's like, I'm making my exit strategy. You know, which is wrong. You know, you don't want to whore out your sister, right? But you gotta keep in mind, you know, that he's quiet, he's just minding his business, and she just kind of all over the place. You know, they say opposites attract, but obviously not in this situation. You know,
right?
But,
right.
Let's check out the a commentary from a brother regarding this breakup. Nino, see what Nino got to say.
Well, let me tell you something. Megan Thee Stallion WAP might have worked on goddamn Tory Lane's ass because he shot her ass. But that WAP ain't worked on Klay Thompson because he wanted out. Megan Thee Stallion somewhere crying in Popeye right now because Klay Thompson done moved on with some WNBA coochie, allegedly. Now, I don't know if this relationship was really real or staged. I don't know if Jay-Z cut goddamn Klay Thompson a check to clean Megan Thee Stallion image up. But what I do know is rumors circulating that Klay cheated on Megan Thee Stallion with a WNBA star named Lexi Brown. Now, Lexi Brown went on the internet and say she ain't into that. But I don't believe you. You need more people. Now, y'all do know the WNBA done started to cut them goddamn $1 million check. And Megan Thee Stallion ain't making that frying no goddamn chicken at no goddamn Popeye. Klay want a check. Now, Megan Thee Stallion was all over that goddamn internet talking about how nice of a man Klay was and how she never met a man that ever made her feel like this before. Well, that whole damn time, Klay Drake looking ass was plotting his escape with Flexi Lexi. People saying that Klay Thompson fumbled mad, but I beg to differ. Klay Thompson got 4 NBA championships. He now worth $100 million. Now with that fame, that name, that goddamn change, and all them goddamn 4 rings, he could have 100 million Megan Thee Stallions if he really wanted to. Check this out.
Well, it appears that Black Mendamus has struck again. Meg Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson have apparently broken up, and I told y'all a year ago that this was going to eventually happen. I told you it wasn't a good fit, and I just didn't see it, and a lot of y'all poo-pooed what I said. But let me remind you this, women, something your mama ain't going to tell you. The top, most elite men that you desire, they have options too. And apparently she said that he was cheating on her and he got cold feet, and that may be true. But the whole optic we got was that Klay Thompson was some kind of cornball that was just blessed to be with somebody like Meg Thee Stallion. This man is a professional ball player. 6'7", handsome, money in the bank, 9 figures, champion. He's got many women knocking down his door. So she's not the cat's meow. And although she has money, a woman's money doesn't mean as much to a man because a woman's money is her freedom, not his support.
And from what I heard, Klay Thompson spent $4 million on Megan Thee Stallion during the course of that relationship. And while she was all on them goddamn songs, my man, Klay Thompson just stayed quiet like a goddamn paid actor supposed to. Carry on.
The second part I'll tell y'all is that beauty will definitely get you places that the average woman can't go, but character and integrity will keep you there. This is the same woman who talks about how we don't need y'all. We don't care about men. She makes all these rap songs about how she's this high and mighty queen. And moreover than that, she was on Club Shay Shay talking about, I don't need to be married. I just need a man to put 4 or 5 babies up in me. All right, bro, that don't sound like wife material to me either. In the U.S., on any given block, you can see a woman who's built like a refrigerator with a bad attitude, with a baby in a stroller. And that means she was able to get a man too. But obviously, she ain't keeping it. The most attractive woman, all the way down to a woman that looks like she's hit every ugly branch on the tree on the way down, can get a man to sleep with her. But it takes a woman of character and integrity to keep a man, to become a wife. The wrong woman can take a man off course. And I don't know if I'm the only one that noticed this, but Klay Thompson's game had gone to trash. Besorda, as my Latino friends would say. He couldn't hit a basket to save his life, and this guy is arguably one of the 10 best shooters in history. Moreover than that, if you look at Meg Thee Stallion's track record, every single man she's dated, it has gone left. Or that man is in a worse situation than he was when he first started dating her. One of those men is in prison for the next 10 years. Beauty gets you in the door, it'll get a man, but it won't keep him. The men that you see as high value, they've got options too. And last but not least, if you're not the right woman, you can take a man on course and mess his life up. And Klay Thompson must have seen through it and stepped away.
I don't feel sorry for a woman that rap about dogging men out and selling WAP on her goddamn songs. I don't feel sorry for a woman that got a man in prison right now serving 10 years for a goddamn alleged lie. I feel like Klay Thompson seen some shit and got the hell away from her before she got pregnant. She wanted some child support because she knew he wasn't gonna marry her bald head ass. I heard she was allegedly sleeping with his teammates and shit. That's what he said. So while she was in the teen locker room, he went outside looking for Flex and Lexi Brown. But let's go through Megan Thee Stallion dating history and see how many goddamn men she fumbled, because she done had a bunch of rich men since she been in the game, but she can't keep a man with that goddamn raggedy ass WAP. Check this out. After a woman done been with all these different kind of rich men and women, you know she used to date Young Miami, right? But nobody said I do. Who the hell you think the problem is? Who y'all think the problem is? Comment below. Because if you was a keeper, you would have been kept. Especially by a lame-ass basketball player like Klay Thompson. Because Klay light-skinned energy. He ain't on that goddamn Anthony Edwards put the baby in your goddamn ass and run type of shit. He been in his soft era ever since he came in the goddamn NBA and won a ring in the NBA. Because you got to remember, Klay Thompson a trust fund baby. His daddy is Micah Thompson, and he played with Magic Johnson. They been had money. That little $4 million that he spent on Megan wasn't nothing but a tax write-off from the family account, probably Jay-Z account. But Megan used his face as a rebuilding of her brain. She had a plan the whole time to clean her image and move into a businesswoman type of category out that goddamn WAP fade, selling that goddamn Gucci. She ain't gotta sell Gucci no more. She owned Popeye. But her badass character ran another rich man away. Bro, who y'all think fumbled in this situation? Klay Thompson or Megan Thee Stallion? Comment below.
So let's get Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 and 22. You know?
God. Nah, you know what's crazy, King?
What's up?
You know what he was saying just now, like, you know, we got these women online talking about nobody knew Klay Thompson before Megan Thee Stallion messed with him or, you know, gave him a chance.
Madness.
Like, he was already known. Like, you know what I mean? He was the one with the money. Like, his face was known already. He's big NBA champion. You know, to my you know, that's what you get for messing with lame dudes. And now they want to have some cheat campaign going on.
I see.
You hear about that?
That's crazy.
A cheat first campaign. Somebody cheat on your men. You know, to get back at Klay. Let's do it for Meg. Just all out wicked. Yeah, man. It's crazy.
That's mental illness, you know.
God.
Yeah, but you know what it really comes down to is like almost like sharing the same brain. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that happened to Megan, allegedly, right? Because you know, Klay could have said, like Nina was talking about, she was messing with the whole team. You know what I'm saying? Which could have been the case, right? So they all get together and say, we're gonna cheat on our men first before they get a chance to cheat on us. We're gonna cheat on them. That's crazy.
Right.
That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole mind state has to be eradicated out of the face of the earth, man. You know what I'm saying? God ain't with it.
Right.
God's not with that. Bad things happen. You know, it's a judgment. You know what I mean? So yeah, the city girls and all that, like you can't really find too many other nationalities that adhere to that type of madness, you know, because every other nationality, they understand like they men is crucial to the family, you know what I mean, to the building blocks, to you know, keeping the structure together and this, that, and the third. But our women lack accountability in a lot of instances. And when you can't be accountable to things that you do, then you never change. You only get worse. And you have that outside influence just building you up. Like, yo, cheat. You can, it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
City girls, we get money. You know what I mean? So cheat on your man. Don't worry about it. Not even thinking about, man, that's adultery. You can get killed like that. The Most High will destroy you. You know
they
what
don't care about that. Right. They don't care about that.
They
don't even believe that. They don't even believe that.
Why are this happening to us? We got to protect the women. And dudes just sitting back like, y'all don't get it, man. You know?
Right.
Cheating on a man first, man. You got to be out your mind.
Yeah.
You can bring it out, King.
They already cheated. They ain't cheat first. Half of them already done cheated. More than half. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is the book of Proverbs, Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 26, verse 22. And harlot shall be accounted as spittle, but a married woman is a tower against death to her husband.
You know what I'm saying? A married woman is a tower of death, you know, to her husband. But, you know, a harlot is spittle, man. You know, so, you know, it's important to understand that, you know, the elder women should be teaching the younger women how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Rather than letting a Megan Thee Stallion or a Cardi B influence them, because that's a trick of, you know, the so-called white man to put them up on a pedestal to bring down the family. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got little girls in kindergarten and first grade that know Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B song, they sing it in school, the teacher recording them. You know what I'm saying? So they growing up with that mentality, and that will eventually go into their relationships, and man, ain't gonna end good. You know, it's a damn shame, man. But let's go to Ecclesiasticus 30:36 and 24. All right, so they do got the Megan Thee Stallions out there, but shout out to the women that are submissive to their husband, that do listen, that that fear the Most High God, that do everything in their power to keep going in the right direction, that aim to wake up the young sisters in these last days. You know what I'm saying? Like the brothers is doing, the sisters can do the same thing as far as like building them up. Like, no, we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? But really, they're taking care of home. That's what the main aim is. You taking care of home, and helping your husband, you know, be a better man. You know what I mean? Be a helpmeet to him. You know, shout out to y'all. You know, y'all really important. You know, so you know, gotta have both sides to it. You know what I mean? Megan Thee Stallions are out there. You know what I mean? And we talk about them because, of course, there's judgment involved. You know what I mean? The sister will talk about the negative things about men, but she can't keep one. You know what I mean? So we gotta, when these things happen, we gotta bring it out. But to the other sisters on the other side, you know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all. Please keep it going. All right. Go ahead,
God. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest.
Not a pillar of words and a pillar of drama and a pillar of a headache. You know what I'm saying? A pillar of rest. You know what I'm saying? So that WAP ain't gonna cut it. The WAP ain't the rest. You know what I mean? The rest is the lack of drama, the rubbing your shoulders when you have a bad day. You know what I mean? The cooking you a hot meal, keeping the house clean. You know what I mean? Body tight, going to the gym, working out. You know what I mean? Being healthy. You know, raising the children to be with healthy food, not McDonald's 17 days a week. You know what I mean? Like that rest that's needed in today. You know, today's society is much needed. Okay, so shout out to y'all and to the Megan Thee Stallions of the world. Repent or be destroyed. God ain't playing with nobody. You know what I'm saying? So there that is. Okay. Let's get Genesis chapter 6 and verse 5. So on the other side, right? So you got the stripper rap, the hoe rap, you know what I mean? And they all know better. That's the thing. Well, I know Cardi B knows better because she turned off her music when her little daughter came in the room because she knew it was trash. You know, Suki Hana knows better because she said they tried to get me to sell my soul, right? And then you see in the next go around, she's partying, you know, putting out the worst type of music possible. You know what I mean? Diamond shining, this, that, and the third. So she took it that route. You know, they sell their soul for fame and fortune, but eventually none of that's going to matter. You know what I mean? Don't matter now, in my opinion. You know what I mean? But when it comes to like a place like Zimbabwe, where they have you know, $10,000 bills just floating in the streets like leaves because of hyperinflation. Why do you not think that's not coming to America? You know what I'm saying? Like they selling themselves for this money, but gas just went up like I know around me, it went up like 20 cents in like a day, you know, and apparently it might be up to 120 barrels. I don't know whenever you're going to watch this, but right now in America or OPEC or whatever, the UAE left OPEC, and now the price of gas is going astronomical. It's more like went from $100 a barrel to I think 115, and now I think it's 120. We're all within a couple of days. So that money's not going to matter. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be gone. So it's all about what you do, you know, to have the Most High God help you in these last days. Because everybody's going to be broke. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
let's bring it out, King.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 5. And Yahweh saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
And this is what it is. You know what I mean? It's getting worse and worse. And the more people get less and less, it's going to get worse and worse. You know, like the scriptures talk about Second Ezra 15 chapter, people breaking in your house, you know what I mean, seeing what you got, all that, you know what I mean. And let me put on this video. This is so we got the rap, the whole rap that's out of control. And now, of course, our brothers that are out there just selling drugs like it's the 80s, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have drones to track you. But let's watch this next video. What happened, I believe, in Ohio.
We begin with Operation Sweet Silence, a 5-year effort to dismantle what authorities call a decade-long criminal enterprise in Columbus. The massive multi-agency operation has resulted in 30 convictions and what law enforcement calls the end of a reign of terror in the Fountain City. Newsletter 9's Amaya Graham joins us now live from the Muskogee County Sheriff's Office, where officials held a news conference today. So, Amaya, what did you learn about the alleged gang members, the weapons, and more connected to this criminal empire?
Well, Jason, local and federal authorities say a massive operation has dismantled an entire criminal organization here in Columbus. That's Operation Sweet Silence, resulting in the arrest of many responsible for violent crime across the Chattahoochee Valley.
These folks knocked a whole empire down today. Those are not my words. Those are the words of one of the defendants in this operation.
Operation Sweet Silence, that is. Local and federal authorities say a massive joint operation has ended what they call a decade-long reign of terror by the Zohannan criminal organization. U.S. Attorney Will Keyes and Muskogee County Sheriff Greg Countryman says the group has been dismantled, resulting in a huge decrease in crime.
We brought down an empire, which is hard to do, and we know that before this and many years back that the community all said that we had a gang problem. That conversation is not a conversation today, thanks to this hard work put in.
Operation Sweet Silence targeted gangs in Columbus and nationwide accused of moving cartel-supplied drugs into local neighborhoods. Investigators say it led to 30 convictions and 167 years combined in federal prison.
The Zohannan and Usworld street gangs and others were responsible for a wave of violent crime in and around Columbus, including homicides and shootings.
The investigation highlighted the extreme violence of these groups. Rich Blisson, the former FBI supervisor, senior special agent for Columbus, detailed a harrowing incident from July of 2022.
FBI agents were watching two subjects deal drugs over on Winston Road. The subjects drove away and the agents followed. The vehicle stopped in the middle of Sheridan Road. Known Usworld gang members Joshua Brown and Jarvis Smith stepped out of the car and fired multiple shots at the agent's car. The vehicle was heavily damaged, but the agent was not injured.
Both Brown and Smith were among those convicted and are currently serving prison sentences without the possibility of parole. $20 million worth of drugs were removed from the streets of Columbus throughout this 5-year multi-agency operation, along with
weapons seized off the streets of Columbus, 119 firearms, machine guns, rifles, shotguns, large capacity magazines, and stolen weapons no longer in the hands of these offenders.
Now, the FBI estimates violent crime fell about 3% in 2023 and another 4.5% in 2024. Murders dropped 11.6% in 2023 and nearly 15% in 2024. Here at home this year, that downward trend continues with the homicide rate at 4 as of today. Live here in Columbus.
So that, I mean, that's what's up because, man, look, that stuff that's dead, man. You know what I mean? All those guns, all those drugs and everything. So among our people is found wicked men. You know what I mean? They'll rather shoot somebody that look like them than to do anything to Esau or anybody else. Right. And also, you gotta look at it like where they get this, how do you get all these drugs? You know, $20 million worth of drugs, 20 million cartel camps and all that. They allow the drugs to come in. You know what I mean? They try to blame Venezuela and these fishermen boats, they blow them up and this, then, and third, but those are all lies. Like CIA planes have actually fell out the sky with tons of cocaine on it. Like, what is the CIA doing distributing tons of cocaine? You know, and the FBI, Salaki, I says Ohio, but that was Georgia, right? The FBI is watching them deal drugs. You know what I'm saying? They're watching them shoot people. They said a 5-year investigation. So as you're watching these dudes for 5 years commit all these crimes, and then it's probably towards the end where they're like, all right, you know what, I'm about to go legit. They're like, all right, let's get them. Let's get them now. You know, because that happened to somebody in Philly, right? I can't think of the brother's name, but you know, he was a major drug dealer, right? One of the biggest drug dealers in the city, period. Another $20 million man, you know what I mean, as far as selling drugs. And the FBI was watching him, had his phone tapped. This one back when Nextels was out. So they somebody told him that it was probably the feds or something, told him, yo, these phones, they can't track them if you use the walkie-talkie. So he's saying all this stuff about the drugs and the guns and this, that, and the third. I don't think he killed anybody. Ace Capone, that's his name. I don't think he killed anybody. He's just selling drugs. So after he made his money, after he bought a mini mansion, that's when they kicked it in, like that day or the next day. He just moved in. So what they do? They took all his cars. They took all his house. They're like, all right, wait for you to buy the house. Wait for him to buy the house. All right, now arrest him. You know what I mean? So they wait for you to get these things. They wait for you to say, all right, I'm done. And then it's like, nah, we're gonna arrest you. But they watch you shoot people and stab and do all this other stuff and assault people and ruin communities and lives for years. They say, no, not yet, not yet, not yet. Wait till we buy some assets that we can seize. You know what I mean? Wait till he's about to leave the game, and then let's get him. So it's a cat and mouse game. It's Monopoly. It always goes into, you know, back to the house. The house always wins, you know. But brothers that are into that, killing and shooting each other, you know what I'm saying? There's a place for you, you know what I mean? And they'll keep you there until the day you die, you know. So Georgia got their gang situation taken care of, you know what I mean? At least for now. And well, that part of Georgia rather.
I think that was Ohio.
No, you know, I looked it up.
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah, I heard Columbus. And
right.
I seen one of them big trucks and it had Georgia on the back. So I looked it up and it says Sweet Silence major multi-year federal investigation based in Columbus, Georgia.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So apparently Columbus has a lot of pull in every city and every state, you know, this murderous child scrapist, you know, has a name, has a city in every state apparently, you know.
Yeah.
Behind enemy lines. All right, can you bring out Isaiah 3 and 15? So, and the unfortunate thing is, right, when we bring out something with the sisters, right? Yo, sisters, you know, you gotta get some accountability, you know what I mean? Get your life together, get yourself in order, you know what I mean? This, then, the third. It's almost like, all right, we don't just talk about the sisters. It's sad we got to do that because, you know, I understand that sisters be getting sensitive, like, yo, you're always talking about us, this, then, the third. No, we talk about everybody, you know what I mean? We read the scriptures and bring out, if you sinning, and you in the wrong, we got to judge the situation according to the scriptures. You know what I mean? But, you know, brothers, all that shooting and killing and robbing each other and selling drugs, that's got to go. It's got to go. Got the Most High willing going to be on chariots. Can't have that type of evil energy about us. All right. Khan, can you bring that out?
Come. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 15. What mean ye that ye beat my people to pieces and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord, the Most High of hosts.
Khan, you know what I mean? Like, anytime we shooting somebody, it's 9 times out of 10, it's each other. You know what I mean? If we are robbing and kicking in doors, it's our doors. You know what I mean? We selling drugs to somebody, it's we destroying our own community. You know what I mean? So the Lord ain't gonna have that. You know, the Lord is you know, a God of judgment, you know. So when them brothers get them football numbers, you know what I mean? They talking about 60, 70 years, you start counting, you know. So you gotta ask, you know, is it worth it? It's not worth it, you know, it's not worth it. There was one video I saw the other day. He said he starts off Assalamu alaikum, of course. And there's 3 brothers in the cell, and he's saying, like, look, man, I'm telling y'all, before you get that switchy, before you go on that drill, just look at this. I got 170 years. He got 30 some years. How many you got? He said, I got 55. He got 55 years. He added that up. This is 378 years staring you down right now. You know what I'm saying? It was something to that effect, 300 and something. You know what I mean? That's, you really can't fathom it, you know, at the time that, you know, you're really going to die in jail. Like everything that you see, these cold prison walls and the floors and this disgusting food and these mean COs and, you know, all that. This is all you're going to see. It's all you're going to know for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
So, yeah. You know, so that little party on the outside, it ain't worth doing all that time on the inside. You know what I mean? You hurting people and all that. All right. So let's continue on. And this is what we got to look forward to on the outside as far as jobs and moving forward in life. This place is done. That's what it comes down to. This place is over with. America's complete, kaput, is done. It's not coming back. It's not coming back. The inflation, it can't get better. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's such a big deal in Iran right now. It's a chokehold with the oil. People are walking away from America. People that had deals with America, they're walking away now. So America's on their own. When we go back to the other Wednesday classes and we talk about this, oh, China's dumping treasuries, U.S. treasuries. You know, Russia's gonna get away from the dollar. This has been happening, you know what I mean? And it's like a trickle down effect. But now you got a moron that's in office and he is doing his best to destroy America. I ain't mad at him because this is happening. This is prophecy happening. But we just got to keep this in mind. Don't think this thing's coming back. It's a wrap, you know. All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 5, verse 8. The tariffs are kicking in. I was watching this video with this young Edomite woman, right? And she says, you know, I went to the store. I mean, I can't afford nothing. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, her thing was like this. I just got past the heat. You know what I mean? The heat and energy costs. I think she lived in New York. The heat was $600 every month. And I wasn't trying to get hot. I was just trying not to freeze. So I had it on 60. Y'all was still cold in the house, but it was $600. She said, I got an email this morning from my landlord. He said, oh, I got to raise your rent. She's like, why? It's not because of the heating costs. I pay that myself. So he just hits me up talking about I got to raise your rent. She said, I also got an email talking about for my healthcare premiums or whatever was extra $400. She's like, where did this come from? So I got in touch with them, this, then the third, made me go through hoops. I talked to them and they were like, you know, It is what it is, pretty much. You know, you want healthcare, yeah. At this point in time, you know, what he had holding it back, what Trump did, you know what I'm saying? I can't think of the word, but it expired. You know what I mean? Something expired. Now it's $400. You know what I'm saying? Whatever payment they had. So this place it's over with. It's done. All right. Oh, Exodus chapter 5. Slakia. Exodus 5 and 8.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 5, verse 8. And the tale of the bricks, which they did make heretofore, ye shall lay upon them, ye shall diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying,
Go ahead.
let us go and sacrifice to our power.
Let's go sacrifice our power. So hold that. We're going to look at what happened in an Amazon warehouse. This joint crazy.
If I told you that a worker at Amazon was forced to continue to work after a coworker had just died, okay, traumatic, right? But this worker is forced to continue working afterwards. Put it up for mass. We have a few elements here. I want to go to Kelly Nantel, who's a spokesperson. Put up Kelly. So Amazon is under fire after an employee at an Oregon fulfillment center died while on duty, with reports suggesting work inside the facility continued after the individual collapsed and died. Amazon spokesperson, and you see her right there, said, quote, nothing is more important than the safety of our employees and our team focus on ensuring our employee receive the care needed, protecting his privacy and ensuring the safety of everyone on site instead of distracting from those efforts by focusing on immediately evacuating other areas of the building in those early moments. She added, quote, shortly after this event occurred, employees were sent home with pay for the rest of the day. When we resumed operations the following day, any employee who requested time off was given that time, and on-site grief counselors were provided to anybody who chose to come to work and needed them. Now, here's what actually happened according to Amazon employees. The unnamed 46-year-old man died of what Amazon said was a, quote, pre-existing medical condition. This happened on the 6th of April at the distribution center in the city of Tropdale. One worker, given the pseudonym Sam to protect her job, told investigative outlet, the Western Eagle, that she was told not to help despite being CPR trained. Sam said she watched as another colleague ran over to the collapsed man and screamed out for help as she pumped his chest. Quote, I started sobbing and said, I want to help, please, Sam told the outlet, but she says her supervisor replied, quote, it has to be management or safety team. Please go back to work, end quote. Paramedics arrived later. Staff say they were told to continue unloading trucks for more than an hour as their colleague lay lifeless on the floor. But Amazon says its managers prioritized trying to help the man and sent warehouse staff home with pay for the rest of the day as soon as it was practical to do so. For more than an hour, several employees said workers in the facility were instructed to continue fetching totes, picking items off shelves, and loading them onto trucks for delivery as the man lay dead. And management figured out their next steps. News of the fatality quickly spread through the building, but workers say top managers did not call operations to an immediate halt. Quote, just turn around and not look. Let's go back to work, end quote, Sam recalled the manager saying. Amazon spokesperson Sam Stevenson said 3 CPR certified team members helped the man, adding that misinformation that's been circulating online about the incident. But Sam says she received a text saying employees should arrive at work at the same time the next day. Some employees took to Amazon's My Voice app to say they only found out their colleague had died on social media. Quote, truthfully, I now have even less respect for our leadership team than I did before, which I didn't know was possible, one wrote. Another quote, it makes me feel more ashamed to work there knowing that people can drop dead and we have to carry on knowing it doesn't matter to the higher ups and everyone is replaceable. And when I tell you the morale issue had to plummet, the morale of the workers had to plummet in that moment. Plummet. This story, however, unfortunately, it's not that much of a shock. Last month, we reported that Amazon forced workers to stand outside during a tornado, according to them. Here it is.
So an Amazon warehouse in Oklahoma City forced the employees outside during an active tornado warning with the sirens going off because there was a tornado in the area. Instead of letting them come inside and shelter, they were forced outside it as they were trying to get out of there to their cars. They were meted by more employees being forced out of the building. When they tried to ask the employees why they were doing this, they said, we only listen to the security guard. The security guard stared at the other employee and locked the door on them. Dozens of Amazon employees locked outside of shelter during a tornado warning with the sirens going off and a tornado in the area. Now, luckily, the tornado went just a little farther north above and didn't hit that area. But the fact that they were forced outside is ridiculous.
A lot of speculation as to why that happened. One speculation is if something happened to them while they were actually inside of the facility, Amazon would have a higher liability suit or payout due to them being on premise. More than the inhumane working conditions at Amazon warehouse for the death that has taken place. So in 2019, a 2019 investigation by Reveal found the Portland area facility had the worst injury rate out of 23 major distribution centers analyzed using data from the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA. In 2018, more than a quarter of all workers at the building, known as PDX9, had some type of injury on the job. In a statement, Amazon said it has worked to decrease its injury rates since the 2019 report. Meanwhile, the tax law that congressional Republicans and U.S. President current Trump enacted last summer has proved to be a massive boom for Amazon, slashing the corporate behemoth's 2025 tax bill, even as its profits surged and it moved ahead with mass layoffs that have cost 30,000 workers their jobs since October. Wall Street Journal reported that Amazon's current U.S. taxes and accounting measure of taxes incurred last year declined to $1.2 billion from $9 billion, while the company's pre-tax U.S. profit increased by 44.5% to $89.5 billion. On a cash basis, the company paid $2.8 billion in federal income taxes last year after paying more than $7 billion in each of the prior 2 years. That is an 87% decline in Amazon's federal tax bill, which you can thank Donald Trump for taking care of his billionaire buddies. All right, Trey, thoughts?
Yeah, this late stage capitalist dystopia is getting truly out of hand. Talk about us regressing as a society. This is the type of stuff that like Upton Sinclair was writing about back in the day when like your uncle worked at the meat packing plant and he fell in the grinder and he'd just be canned up with the rest of the, spam or whatever and shipped out. And we had to like come together and form labor unions and things like that to stop these things from happening. And then now, gradually over the years that gets chipped away at, they get demonized further. And then look what happens. And we're heading back in we're past heading in that direction now. And it's like, they're not going to just stop on their own. The corporate, the overlords, right? Like you have to force them to respect your humanity.
The second anything.
All right. So, they have a very close relationship with Donald Trump, right? Actually, they said Amazon's thinking about rebooting The Apprentice and having Donald Trump Jr. run it. You know what I mean? So it's fascism. You know what I mean? It's the merger between the private companies, private entities, and corporate. I mean corporate and the government. All right, can you read verse 9, Exodus 5 and 9?
Verse 9. Let their more work be laid upon the men, that they may labor therein, and let them not regard vain words.
You know what I mean? It's just more work. Just add on more work. You know, if you die while you working there, you know what I'm saying, they'll eventually call an ambulance. You know what I'm saying? People had CPR training. They're like, nah, you can't help them. You know, people are crying and like, your coworker just died right in front of you. They're like, all right, well, keep working. You know, there's nothing you can do to help them. Just keep working. You know, so like the love of many shall wax cold. You know, this is a cold place, man. America's a cold world, a cold country ran by evil, satanic, cannibalistic pedophiles. True story.
Right.
Not an opinion anymore. We got the proof. Okay. This is what they run by, and this is, the way that they act. So with that in mind, take your sick days, you take your mental health days, take your vacation days, because here you are trying to, I want to move up and the corporate hierarchy and this, then the third. Man, if you die tomorrow, they're gonna keep on working and just sweep your body up and take you to the meat locker or something like that. You know what I mean? They really don't care. So don't break your back. You know what I'm saying? In that aspect, you got to work, of course, but you know what I mean, as far as that above and beyond, to you have a mental health break, you never see your family and this, that, and the third, take time off for yourself, man, and make sure you get a job, you take the Sabbath off because you need that rest. Most High knew exactly what he was doing. You know what I mean? So, of course, in HOI, get with, if you, whatever part of the wherever you're at as far as on the in the country or out of the country, the UK or whatever, get with your captains in your cities and get a letter saying that, look, this is my belief system. You can't go against that. Once you give that letter to them, HR, and they try to fire you, whatever like that, then you got a lawsuit. Okay. All right. Chariots. Let's do chariot talk, right? We talked about how, and right now they're talking a lot about the chariots as well. You know what I'm saying? The government, 11, 12 now, I think 12 or 13 scientists are now missing and dead or missing. They're offing themselves. They're leaving everything at home and just walking, and nobody could find them. And it's a lot going on. And a lot of them have ties with the so-called UFO programs. You know what I'm saying? So something's happening. Okay, so let's watch this next video. It talks about the so-called meteors that are falling on the earth, and how some of them aren't meteors. Okay, and they're not stopping. They haven't stopped. And I think they're actually getting worse, if I'm not mistaken. But let's talk about it. All right. And we'll come back. We'll get 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, once we get this. All right.
Hello, my fellow sky watchers and truth seekers. It's the Angry Astronaut, and I'm back in the studio because I literally cannot stay quiet about this any longer. If you watched my last video about fireball outbreaks, meteors, UFOs, or perhaps something tied to 3i Atlas, then you already know I've been tracking one of the strangest, most relentless waves of bright, exploding objects lighting up the skies all over this planet. We're talking fireballs that don't behave like normal meteors, orbs that hover and maneuver like nothing natural, and an uptick in activity that has the American Meteor Society scrambling. Well, guess what, folks? It hasn't stopped, not even close. In fact, the last few days, the entire month of April 2026 actually have been straight up insane. We've got more fireball meteor clips pouring in from everywhere, plus these glowing orb UFOs that are definitely not meteors. They're doing things that rocks simply cannot do. And the crown jewel of this latest wave, a spectacular blue-green monster that turned the pre-dawn skies over Utah into broad daylight yesterday. We're going deep today, longer, more detailed, more evidence, and more analysis. I'm talking multiple angles on the Utah event, a full rundown of every major April fireball I could dig up, the latest orb sightings that are blowing minds, historical cases that show fireball UFOs have happened before, and then we're tying it all back to the interstellar elephant in the room, 3i Atlas. I've been theorizing for months that this thing is no ordinary comet. What if it's an asteroid ship from another star system? What if that massive anti-tail it sprouted was actually shedding small robot probes or drones? And what if some of them malfunctioned and are now crashing into Earth or even slamming into the moon? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to be fired up as I am. And if you're new here, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and let's get into it. Good morning, alien enthusiasts, and welcome to another Angry Alien Bulletin. One of my favorite lines from Escape from LA, which was a truly terrible sequel in many ways, but still entertaining in its own way, I suppose, to Escape from New York, is the more things change, the more they stay the same. So here I am with a slightly different face in a different hotel room, but I'm still the Angry Astronaut, and the content is still the same, and that counts for the fireball phenomenon that's going on right now as well. These things have been lighting up the skies all over the world, and even though the New York Times would have us believe that this outbreak is over, doesn't really appear to be, because after all, April isn't even over yet. March was a massive month for fireball meteors, if that's what you want to call them, although as you're going to see, some of these things are definitely not meteors. And the notion was that all of it had come to a screeching halt in April, but yesterday in Utah, that turned out not to be the case at all. An extremely bright fireball that absolutely lit up the skies all over the state. Even people in Wyoming saw it. Quite a spectacular event, and these sorts of things have continued to happen all over the planet. So the question remains, what's going on here? Granted, I totally believe that most of these events, or at least a substantial percentage of them, are just ordinary meteors. Indeed, we've even found physical remains of some of these meteors, but others I'm not quite so sure about. So in the course of this video, we're going to catch you up to date on what's been going on in April, the major events that have happened, not only in terms of fireballs, but also orb UFOs that in many ways can count as fireballs, even though they certainly don't behave like meteors. We're also going to talk about past events, fireball outbreaks, or major fireball UFO events of note that took place decades ago. And we're also going to talk about what might be causing this, especially a connection with 3i Atlas. So let's kick things off with the event that's got everyone talking right now, the Utah fireball yesterday, April 23rd, 4:49 a.m. Drivers on the Mid-Valley Highway in Tooele, Utah, I don't know how that's pronounced, I'm sorry, are just going about their early morning commute. And all of a sudden, this thing rips across the sky like a blue-green freight train straight out of a sci-fi movie. It wasn't just bright, it was blinding. For a split second, the entire valley lit up brighter than the sun coming up. Multiple ring cameras, doorbell cams, dash cams, you name it. We've got footage from several different angles. And have a look at the color change, a classic sign of different materials burning up. This thing was huge. Reports flooded into the American Meteor Society from northern Utah, southwest Wyoming, and parts of Colorado, and even Nebraska. People reported a loud sonic boom, windows rattling, and some even felt the ground shake. Officials are calling it a Lyrid meteor. And yeah, the Lyrids were peaking around April 22nd to the 23rd, but this just didn't look like an ordinary pebble from space. They're already organizing searches for possible meteorites in eastern Utah, and I'll be watching that story like a hawk and update you the second anything turns up. Now, this one alone would be enough to make a video about, but it's not even the only big event this month. Let's zoom out and look at the full April 2026 picture, because this month has been relentless. Back on April 7th, a massive daylight fireball tore across the northeastern United States, seen from New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and beyond. Over 260 eyewitness reports poured in. People were driving, walking their dogs, sitting in traffic, and suddenly this thing appeared in broad daylight, brighter than the sun, according to some witnesses, and leaving a smoke trail. The AMS logged it as one of the brighter events of the year so far. Then, just 2 days later, April 9th, another significant fireball over Wyoming. Multiple videos and dozens of reports. Same pattern, bright, fast, and explosive. Throughout the rest of the month, we've had additional events popping off in the Midwest, the West Coast, and even Europe. The American Meteor Society's fireball log is lighting up with multiple events per week that are getting 20 plus reports each. Remember what I said in the last video about the first quarter 2026 surge? The numbers are still climbing. According to the AMS, the first 3 months of 2026 saw double the usual number of bright fireballs compared to the long-term average. March was completely off the charts, and April is refusing to slow down, even though the Lyrid shower is supposed to be winding down. Okay, so we've caught you up with all of the fireball events that have been taking place. The ones that look like meteors should be meteors, although frankly, I'm not quite so sure about all of them. Then there have been a number of other events this month that have definitely not been meteors. So here's where the conversation shifts from, wow, neat meteors, to hold up. Something is seriously off, because mixed in with all these fireballs, I've also been tracking a steady stream of glowing orb UFOs from the last couple of weeks that break every single rule that meteors follow. These things are not streaking, they are not leaving smoke trails, they are absolutely not burning up. They hover, they pulse, they change direction, and sometimes they even seem to interact with one another or the environment. First up, the Gulf of Mexico cruise ship footage from April 16th. Balcony cam catches multiple glowing orbs popping up out of nowhere, zigzagging, diving towards the water, and then shooting back up. They're doing an ocean ballet that no meteor has ever done in the history of meteors. Then we have the high-profile sighting from the singer Casey Musgraves on April 9th. She's on a flight, looks out the window, and sees 3 glowing orbs trailing her plane for a full 45 minutes. They change colors, they form triangle formations, and they keep pace with a commercial airliner. She posted about it in real time. This isn't some random TikTok. This is a celebrity on a plane with witnesses. And don't forget the recent Wisconsin and Palm Desert style orbs that keep showing up in the last week. Silent, hovering and pulsing. One pair caught moving together like they're on a mission. Meteors don't hover. Meteors don't change direction mid-flight without exploding. Meteors don't form geometric patterns and follow planes. These orbs are playing by a completely different set of physics, and the more we see them mixed in with the fireball surge, the harder it is to pretend that they're all just space rocks. All right, so we've covered everything that's happening currently. Now it's time to go back in time, really back before I was born, to cover one of the most famous events, famous UFO sightings in history. This is also known as Pennsylvania's Roswell. And this brings me to an important point I want to drive home before we go any deeper. Fireball UFOs have happened before. This isn't some brand new 2026 phenomenon. History is full of cases where bright fireball-like objects streaked across the sky only for the official story to fall apart and leave us with something far more mysterious than just burning rock. One of the most famous and still completely unexplained is the Kecksburg UFO incident from December 9th, 1965, often called Pennsylvania's Roswell. On that evening, thousands of people across at least 6 U.S. states, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia, and Indiana, plus parts of Canada, watched a brilliant blue-orange fireball streak across the sky. It was so bright, it lit up the twilight like a flare. Many witnesses reported it changing direction slightly or slowing down before it descended, behavior that normal meteors simply don't do. Some even heard a sonic boom. Object eventually crashed in the woods outside the tiny town of Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. Locals described a loud thump that shook the ground, blue smoke rising from the trees, and intense heat. When people rushed to the crash site, they found a large, metallic, acorn-shaped or bell-shaped object, roughly 3 to 4 meters wide and a couple of meters tall. It had a bronze or copper-colored surface and strange hieroglyphic-like markings raised around a band near the base. No wings, no rocket nozzles, no obvious propulsion system, nothing that looked like any known aircraft or satellite of the era. Within hours, the U.S. military showed up in force. They cordoned off the entire area, ordered civilians and even local firefighters and reporters away. And according to multiple eyewitness accounts, they loaded the object onto a flatbed truck under a tarp and hauled it away under heavy guard. One local radio reporter said that his film and recordings were confiscated on the spot. The official explanation kept changing. First, they said that it was a meteor. Then NASA claimed it was probably debris from a Soviet satellite, Cosmos 96. Years later, investigators discovered that all of NASA's records from the Kecksburg investigation had mysteriously disappeared in the 1980s. To this day, no one has ever produced a single piece of physical evidence that matches the official story. Think about that for a second. A bright fireball that doesn't act quite right, an anomalous object recovered under military secrecy, shifting explanations, and vanished records. Does that sound familiar? The Kecksburg case proves that fireball UFO events have been happening for decades, and the public has never gotten straight answers. When you see the exact same pattern repeating right now in 2026, 60 years later, bright fireballs, orbs that break the rules, military interest, and the just a meteor line, it makes you wonder if history is repeating itself or if something even bigger is still incoming. And finally, I continue to maintain that there may be a connection between what's going on right now and 3I Atlas. I mean, look at the events that have been taking place in the solar system. Certainly, we've seen a number of intriguing comets, actual comets, that have made their way through the solar system. And certainly that's noteworthy, but it shouldn't have caused all of these meteors or these fireball events, whatever you want to call them. That definitely should shouldn't have happened, because if it did, if there were a single comet that caused all of these things, that means that we should see an outbreak in a particular region of the world. As the Earth rotates into the debris path of these things, then we should be seeing fireballs entering the atmosphere from a particular direction. We're not seeing that. So what has happened in the solar system that was different than any other year in recent history? It's because we had the first really bright and really unusual object make its way through the solar system from outside, from an interstellar point of origin. And that, of course, is 3I Atlas. So this is where my ongoing theory comes in, and I'm going to take my time on this because it deserves a deep dive. 3I Atlas, the third confirmed interstellar object to visit our solar system, was discovered in July 2025 by the Atlas Survey Telescope Network. This thing came screaming in from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. It made its closest approach to Earth in December of 2025, swung through the inner solar system, and scientists are still arguing about what the hell it actually is. The most mind-blowing feature, that massive anti-tail. Normal comet tails get pushed away from the sun by solar wind and radiation pressure. You can actually see that from this particular animation. They expected 3I Atlas to have a normal cometary tail, and as you can see, it keeps pointing away from the sun. That's actually not what this thing did. 3I Atlas grew a sunward pointing anti-tail that sometimes stretched longer than the Earth-Moon distance, hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Hubble images captured in January of 2026 showed tight, collimated jets and wobbling structures that looked almost engineered. Astronomers like Avi Loeb were openly saying that this behavior was unlike anything we've ever seen from a natural comet or asteroid. The particles in that anti-tail were unusually large, big enough to shrug off the solar wind instead of being blown backward like every other comet we've studied. And I've been saying this for months on this channel. What if 3I Atlas isn't just a comet or asteroid? What if it's an interstellar asteroid ship, some kind of artificial probe or vessel sent from another star system? And what if that massive anti-tail wasn't dust, but thousands of small robot asteroid ships or drones being deployed? Some of them malfunctioned, broke off course, and are now entering our atmosphere as these fireballs, or operating as the glowing orbs that we keep filming. Think about the timeline. 3I Atlas passes through in late 2025, sheds this anomalous material, and boom, right at the start of 2026, we get the massive fireball surge that AMS is still documenting. April is continuing the trend. The numbers line up too perfectly to be pure coincidence. And here's the part that really makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. NASA's Artemis II mission in early April 2026. The astronauts looping around the moon's far side reported seeing multiple rapid micrometeoroid impact flashes lighting up the lunar surface in real time. 4 to 6 bright flashes during one of their orbits. They were literally watching stuff slamming into the moon right in front of their eyes. And guess where the moon was positioned at that exact moment? Right in the constellation of Sagittarius, the exact direction that 3I Atlas came from. Coincidence? Or are we watching the aftermath of the same wave of material or probes that originated from 3I Atlas hitting both Earth and our natural satellite? The moon was in perfect alignment to be in the path of anything still traveling along that Sagittarius trajectory. Now, I'm not sitting here claiming that every single fireball is alien tech. I'm not saying we have proof positive, but when you stack up the interstellar visitor with the weird anti-tail full of large particles that don't behave like normal dust, the perfect timeline match with the 2026 fireball outbreak, The orbs that clearly aren't meteors, the historical precedent like Kecksburg, and then the moon getting peppered while sitting right in the line of fire. You would have to be willfully ignoring the data to say nothing to see here. This is exactly why I do this channel. The official narrative is always just meteors, move along, but the anomalies keep piling up, and the sky is literally screaming at us that something bigger is happening. Okay, so let's bring it back to you guys because this is a community effort. Have you seen a fireball or an orb in the last 2 weeks? Drop your location, the exact date and time, and a description in the comments. If you caught it on video, dash cam.
All right. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's a lot. Let's go to 2 Kings 6 and 15.
The book of 2 Kings, chapter 6, verse 15. And when the servant of the man of God was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And his servant said unto him, Alas, my master, how shall we do?
God, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, man, ICE is in the streets. They're in the airports. This is crazy. What are we gonna do? The white supremacists are growing in number, and then I don't know what to do. I don't have a pistol. I don't have a lot of bullets. What should we do? Read on.
And he answered, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? We kind of deep in this joint. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see how it's gonna fall from the sky and start doing loop-de-loops. It's just laughing at them. Like, you have no idea what's going on right now. And after this, we're gonna look at a video that I just seen something today, and it goes along with what's happening to those scientists and the people that work in UFOs, so forth and so on. Go ahead, can you read on?
And Elisha prayed and said, Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes that he may see. And the Lord opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire round about Elisha.
Khan. All right, so let's check out this video right here, right? So like you're saying, when things look Memphis bleak, you gotta keep in mind that the Most High planned this out a long time ago. You see how that the 3-eye Atlas, when it was on the elliptical plane, it as the planets are going around, it's passing by Mars, passed by Jupiter. It's like on a perfect trajectory that, if you threw a rock and, like the chances of that actually happening by accident it don't exist. You know what I'm saying? It's just the numbers way too high. All right, so Tim Burchett, very open and I can't say honest because Esau's not honest. He knows a lot, but he don't say nothing. And this is the same guy that we watched the video when he came out of a skiff, or he came out of like a private meeting, right, with the intelligence agencies, and they asked him like, "Yo, what's going on with these UFOs?" He's like, "Look, we know what they are. It's Ezekiel's wheel. They've been around forever, and you know what I'm saying." Like, so he put the biblical connection between the so-called UFOs, right? But he's not saying that now. That was years ago. Now he's like, I have no idea what they are, but a couple months ago, maybe like a month ago, he was interviewed by Newsmax, and he said, if I told you what's happening, then the city, the country will come unglued. You know what I mean? This is people will be running for the hills type time, right? And the guy that's interviewing him now, he asked to elaborate on that. He's like, I can't, because when you go into a skiff, which is where they have this information and all that given to them, if they say what happened, they probably get arrested. You know what I mean? It's like real top secret, right? So I'm watching this interview today, And I noticed something. As he's talking, the light in the back goes off, right? So look where this cursor is. The light in the back goes off, right? And then about right here, wherever this is, this white thing, you can see a shadow move, and it cuts off half of it. So I'm gonna play it. And the reason why I'm playing is because, you know, what we just seen with the meteors and all that. And anybody that's dealing with the UFO topic, right? Chariot topic, right now is scared to death because the people are missing and they're being found dead. They're unaliving themselves. It's a whole bunch of stuff, right? The only thing they really have in common is that they work with that type of engineering. You know what I'm saying? And obviously he doesn't. He's a congressman, but he's very vocal. And something might happen to him. You know what I'm saying? I could. I didn't do it. Nobody on this thing would do it. But something might happen to him because the Most High obviously ain't pleased with this dude. You know what I'm saying? Sending those evil angels around him. So let's watch this video and see if you see what I see.
It's very telling, and it defied everything that we have. And then you combine that with the multiple other briefings that I've had, and it's just too much, brother. It's too much. America needs to know. The president needs to put this stuff out. And my biggest fear, once again, is going to be just like Schumer. You remember a couple of years ago when I tried to get them to release everything.
So that's what I see. I don't know if y'all see the same thing. We will revisit this in the future and see if anything happens to the bull. But a lot of UFO, people that work with the UFOs or work with the propulsion systems, blah, 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 they've been getting taken out. And it is what it is. And if you watch it's a show called Three Body Problem. I talked about it last week. Three Body Problem. It talks about these things as well. Scientists being taken out. So when civilization is being conquered, you got to take out some of the smartest people first. All right. Okay. Speaking of civilization being conquered, let's get Isaiah 28:2. It was a lot of hail, a lot of tornadoes, a lot of thunderstorms all across the map. You know what I mean? The Lord was working super overtime when it came to destruction. Go ahead, Ken, you can bring it out.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, verse 2. Behold, the Most High have a mighty and strong one, which as a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing, shall cast down to the earth with the hand.
Very symbolic. Just talking about Ephraim throughout this chapter. But the hail, the tempest, this is something that was cast down to the earth. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that they have done to the Most High's chosen people leave them in a position of extreme judgment. So let's look at this. Slovakia, where's this at? Let's look at this next video. And there's more going on as we speak, of course. It's not over. I think in Texas is getting really bad.
Overnight, a reported tornado just east of St. Louis, leaving this neighborhood a complete mess.
You guys good?
Homes reduced to piles of wood, downed trees litter the ground, and a whole power pole snapping off its base. All of it part of the latest severe storm system, creating dangerous conditions for millions in its path.
I don't think that's a tornado, but oh my gosh.
Including violent thunderstorms and intense hail across the Midwest. lightning strikes from this sprawling system visible from space. In Missouri, the powerful storm pulling down power lines and ripping apart multiple structures, including this barn, now a pile of twisted metal. Wind gusts in Wisconsin more than 70 miles per hour, knocking down trees and power to thousands. And overnight, storms battering Tennessee. Heavy rain, intense lightning, and downed trees across the state. Thunderstorms even causing headaches for travelers, with temporary ground stops at some of the nation's busiest airports, including Chicago's O'Hare, as well as Dallas-Fort Worth International, as people come together to clean up after wild weather swept through so many communities.
And we're learning that this latest round of storms did turn deadly. Police in Michigan saying a 39-year-old man was struck by a falling tree. They say that witnesses told them he was warning others just before that tree fell, saying that he likely saved many other lives. Craig?
Oh, all right. Shaquille Brewster for us there in Illinois. Shaquille, thank you.
Oh, it's been rough in the Midwest these last few days.
That's right. And we still have another 24 hours. Good morning, guys, and good morning to you. You can see this line of showers and thunderstorms approaching D.C. Knoxville in the middle of it right now. Probably airport delays there. Severe thunderstorm watches right now. Wichita Falls, Ada, all the way just to the north of Abilene, Texas. We're watching that through this afternoon. Now, for today and tonight, a new round of severe storms.
Yep, you tell them, Al. It's getting bad, man. It's getting bad. Now, think about how much the Most High hates this place, man. Like, they got a tornado alley. Like, it's just a place where, it's just pure destruction. And right in the Midwest, when everybody tried to get away from niggas, you know what I mean? They murdered the Native Americans, ran over there, Tulsa, Oklahoma, bombed Black Wall Street, the so-called Bible Belt, where they're racist as hell, but they stand behind our Christian values. That's where they had picnics where they pick a nigga and hang him, you know what I'm saying, right after church, and take pictures and then turn them into postcards and then send them to their friends. So now the Most High has a place where he just destroys them every year. Tornado season. Can you imagine that? Think about another country. Go outside of America. Go to Canada. Do they have a tornado alley in Canada? Can you go to Mexico? Every year, a place just gets destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they always have roofs getting thrown all this way and that way, and the trailer parks get thrown 300 yards away. No, that's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? But it is in America because God hates this place. Let's go to Proverbs 1:27.
God.
And for good reason. Not just he hates it just to hate it. It's just an evil, wicked spot, man. You know, if you live in these areas, you know what I'm saying? You just got to get close to the Most High. So, because tornadoes will destroy a whole block and jump over one house and then destroy the rest of the block. That happens. That happened in what's it called? It was in California. That huge fire in California. I forget the Palisades fire. They destroyed everything over there. And there was one house that just didn't get touched. And everybody's looking like, yo, what did they have? Like flame retardant on it or something like that? I don't think the house did. It just didn't get touched. So the Most High can definitely leave you and destroy your whole neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, King. You can bring it out.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 27. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you.
Read on.
Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me.
When your fear cometh as desolation, right? And your destruction coming from the whirlwind. You imagine you can't even hear yourself think. Sound like they said, it sound like a freight train coming when tornadoes are in the midst. And I don't know how many tornadoes touched down in America in the past week, but it's been a lot. It's been a bunch. All right. And may the Most High continue on to destroy this place, man. All right, let's get Proverbs 21:6. Matter of fact, Yeah, hold Proverbs 21:6. Let me show this one video. When it comes to what was it? Hell. Let me get, matter of fact, yeah, hold that. Let me get let me see. Let me get Exodus 9 and let me see. 9 and 25. Let's get 25.
Want that now?
Con, yeah, you bring that out now.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 9, verse 25. And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field.
Con, go ahead.
Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail.
Con by Shema Mashiach Yahushua.
All
right, here's in Springfield, Missouri. Now he's gonna have to drive home eventually. Like that joint got destroyed. You know what I'm saying? They might as well not have a front window after that. Back window got smashed out, you know. So Eric Gockel, who his name was, Eric Gockel, he's in the beginning. I cut out, he's talking in the beginning. Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Most I said, nah, sit back for a little bit, man. Your car's ruined. All right. So yeah, that's how that goes. Let's go to Proverbs 21:6. God's paying them back, man. Paying them back.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 6. The getting of treasures by a lying tongue is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death.
Them that seek death. Now let's keep that in mind. We're gonna go to the next story. Donald J. Trump. They tried to take him out of here, man. They had some random guy running. He came from California, and he got on a train, and he got in the building, you know what I'm saying, in a hotel that housed the most important, quote unquote, most important people in the world, in the free world. The president, the vice president, the secretary of defense, you know what I mean? The press secretaries, the attorney generals, everybody that you could think of with a level of importance in Babylon was in this room. And this dude got that close, and a woman saw him put a gun together in the room next to where the security is. Come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look, God, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night, man. You know?
Right, yeah.
And then immediately he comes out and says, yo, that's why I need my ballroom. And people are like, what, all this over a ballroom? We know you did it to yourself, right? We understand, you know, your press secretary spilled the beans. It's like, oh, it's going to be some shots fired tonight. And then the Fox News reporter starts laughing all loud and everything like that. And another situation where her husband was sitting at a table with another Fox reporter, right? And the Fox reporter is telling this on live on air. She was saying how her husband said, yo, I need you to be safe tonight. Or you know what I mean? Something like, I need you to be safe. And he looked at me real serious. And then he said, and then everything got cut. And everybody's waiting for it to finish. And then the Fox News guy's like, oh, it must be she can't talk right now because of all the traffic on the cell phones. And like, shut up. Y'all cut her mic or cut the feed, right? Because she was about to say, they all knew. They're all in on it. You know what I mean? Now, some of those faces, they look like pure terror. And, you know, all praise to the Most High. This evil, racist, oppressive media, you know, took a little, you know what I mean? Got their heart racing a little bit, their blood pressure up, you know. They made sure they put so-called black people all throughout the news cycle. We do something wrong, that joint is in the news cycle for a week. Esau do something wrong, you don't even see his mugshot. You know what I'm saying? They don't even say his name, like, oh, we don't know who did it and we don't have the mugshot, but we'll get back to you when we do. And then of course they go right to something that a black man did. You know what I mean? So hell with the media, you know what I mean? And they playing around with this, you know, the Most High make that joint real, you know, and spray all that, you know what I'm saying? Knock all this over, you know. But I don't believe anything like that. Like the bull ran in there with a gun he put together himself. I don't know how he lost all his clothes. So he ends up in there and he's shooting in the air wildly, not shooting at anybody. Apparently the one Secret Service guy that got shot was shot by allegedly by another Secret Service man's bullet. So this might be the guy that was ready to leave and spill the beans and they just shot him. You know what I mean? The bull ends up naked on the ground. Nobody saw his gun. I ain't see his gun. You know what I mean? He probably was drugged and he ran down there and just threw him on the ground and took a picture. Because as soon as it happened, Trump is tweeting out the picture. Here's the guy, you know, and of course it's Jake, right? Come on, man. Nobody believes you, right? So I seen a video who I'm about to put now that seemed to kind of go in line with what they're probably trying to do as far as this ballroom and what you would call the third temple. Okay. So let's watch this. Let's watch this.
16 minutes later, the U.S. President and First Lady took to the stage. So far, so normal. At 8:30, 16 minutes later, the U.S. President and First Lady took to the stage. So far, so normal. At 8:34 p.m., Trump is seen conversing with American mentalist Oz Perlman, who appears to be showing him a magic trick. And here's where the night takes an unexpected turn.
They stopped her from talking live on air. And this is the person who allegedly did this. Now, what's absolutely wild, that this account, Henry Martinez, joined X on December 2023 and tweeted out one name, Cole, on December 21st, 2023. There's a motive.
College student Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground. The idea with this is to prevent it from moving at all.
Recent Aging into the Future conference held by St. Barnabas Senior Services and the Eisner Foundation offered a test run on products that have the potential to enrich the lives of seniors. 14 different tech startups got to present to over 350 people in the hopes of getting their projects into some sort of senior health facility.
Inside, they started up. All of a sudden, it just started getting noisy. Tables getting flipped over, guys running in with guns, and they were screaming, "Get down!" I didn't get down. It was awesome. I literally took every minute of it in, and it was pretty pretty crazy, unique experience.
So you were on the aisle. What exactly did you see?
We were sitting right in front of the table.
Okay.
Right in front of where the president was.
Yes. And what exactly happened? So someone got tackled, or like what?
Nobody got tackled, but guys came in looking for shooters. And they came toward our table. I thought the shooter was over by us or something.
Let's take you inside now. The Correspondents' Dinner. President Trump, his wife, sitting there at that table. Seconds later, that commotion starts to unfold. Secret Service then surrounds his table, and President Trump and his wife are then evacuated from that table. President Trump spoke about this situation today moments ago. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Everyone owes a tremendous debt of gratitude to the courage of law enforcement, the law enforcement, and working with the D.C. police, and just spoke with the mayor. And when we're finished, the police chief is going to take over and discuss it also from their viewpoint.
Lie to me. Do not tell me your real ATM PIN code.
Okay.
Obviously, unless you want to. Make up a fake 4-digit number off the top of your head, what feels to you utterly spontaneous. Okay. When I say go, 1, 2, 3, 4-digit code, random, go.
Okay.
Say it.
2020.
2020. Okay. So you ask me, how do I do what I do? Now, I'm going to write down 2020.
Okay.
It's weird, but statistically, men will lie bigger, women smaller. Men like to lie by saying things are bigger, right? No shocker.
Okay.
So I don't think I would tell you right off the jump for me that means that your first number, you don't have to say anything yet. I wrote 2020 is smaller. That's what most people do when they're rushed. If I had given you 5 minutes, you would have done this different.
No, I wouldn't have.
No, you would have.
Why would I have?
Because you would have thought about it, and then
No.
people go down a different path.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Worked out for me either way. You'll be honest if I'm right.
Okay.
I got a hit, which means it's a 0 or 1. I think the first number of your code's a 1, isn't it? Your real PIN code.
My ATM
PIN code.
Why would I tell you that on the air?
Should I only show this to you?
Sure.
Only show it to you.
Yeah.
Can we acquiesce that the first number I got was correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you did repetition. So yeah, I like the fact when people always say to me it's fake when they watch the videos, they're like, you must have set up. Joe doesn't even want this to happen right now. He had no idea this was going to happen. You used 2 numbers in repeats. What that means is you probably did the same thing. You also didn't use any of the same numbers. So I know there's not a 2, a 0, or a 2 in it. I don't think so either.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching you while I say it. You put the hand up. You might as well have said yes to me out loud. So now I know. Think of the second number,
okay,
third number, fourth number.
Got
Every
it.
time you did it, it's a data point.
Okay.
I'm only going to ask you one more question. I'm not looking for answers. The last number is the biggest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm showing this to you. Is there a camera behind me? I don't want to make sure. I'm only going to show it to you. It's not 2020. How'd I do, Joe? Is that your ATM PIN code?
Yeah. That's weird. I'm skeptical because I've got that PIN code in the mail. You know?
He's calling his bank right now and be like, Joe, do you know this? Has this guy been playing the long game?
Yeah, I don't like that.
A loud noise is heard in the background, followed by what sounds like several gunshots. A look of shock clearly passes over First Lady Melania Trump's face. 11 seconds after the first noise was heard, security services personnel surround the president. On the other end of the stage, security reached Vice President J.D. Vance, who had been seated close to the end, and immediately rush him away. Seconds later, the Secret Service continues to encircle the president and takes him off stage.
You know what happened?
In the moments that followed, members of Trump's cabinet, including Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Homeland Security Markwayne Mullin, and Speaker of the House of Representatives Mike Johnson, are seen being escorted through the hotel to safety. Back inside the ballroom, the shocked guests sheltered at their tables. CNN's Sarah Seidner filming this as she did so. Attendees, including CNN's Manu Raju and Brian Stelter, trying to make out what had happened.
It's unmistakable. It sounded like gunshots that we heard.
The shooter was stopped on the floor above the ballroom. At 8:52 p.m., this video was filmed by eyewitness Bill Frischling, showing the suspect lying face down on the ground, shirtless and in handcuffs. Sources tell CNN he has been identified as a 31-year-old male from California. It's believed he was working alone. Almost an hour later, a motorcade believed to be carrying President Trump departed the Washington Hilton. Still later, upon returning to the White House, the president held a press conference, praising law enforcement and calling the presidency a, quote, dangerous profession.
It comes with the territory. And if you want to do a great job, I really believe that. I will say, it's not a particularly secure building. I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why the military are demanding it.
The White House East Wing Ballroom Project, where Donald Trump fired the McCreary architects and replaced them with Shalom Bernis Associates. This ballroom, the one that has the blueprint that looks exactly like Solomon's temple. And what does Shalom Bernis Associates have experience with? Doing multiple synagogue renovations, renovating temples. And you remember America Reads the Bible 2026, a historic call to return to God's word that literally finished today, where Donald Trump read the Bible. And he specifically read 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verses 11 through 22. So what does 2 Chronicles chapter 7 deal with? The dedication of the temple, where the Lord appears to Solomon after Solomon finished building the temple, and the Lord gave him a vision, saying, when I shut up the heavens so that there is no rain, or command the locusts to devour the land, or send plagues among my people, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sins. This is what Donald Trump read. And so is this a play to get the third temple built?
Interesting, right? Because you know he's up to something, especially the map of his ballroom and a design of the temple. So you know how Esau is. Esau thinks that he could push prophecy and do all this, but it's not going to work. They're waiting for the red heifer and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? But it's not going to end up good for them. We are the temple of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They don't understand that. All right. So last but not least, and also, I was gonna say about that. Oh, anytime a nigga with a gun is running towards the president of the United States and all his administration and doesn't get shot, something's up. Something's up. They would have Swiss cheesed him if he would have just took a wrong turn and just didn't have his ticket or something like that. So they tackled him and wrestled the gun away. Right. All right, let's go to Jeremiah 30 and 17. We're going to end on this note with the health is wealth segment of the class. And it's very interesting. It's something that just caught my eye and my attention. Haven't done it, haven't tried it. We're going to, we'll get into it. Talk about putting salt in your socks. Interesting stuff. I'm not a doctor. I'm not, no medical advice, but just watch it. Tell me what you think. But let's bring that out, King. Jeremiah 30 and 17. Oh, Salaki, hold on. Let's see. You there?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. There you go. Yeah, I had to go out and come back in. I got cut off. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Most High, because they call thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
All right, so this is the last video discussing something very interesting, if you will. Salt in your socks. All right, here we go.
Put salt in your socks before bed. This sounds strange, I know. But within seconds, your body starts to respond. Most people have no idea why. So before you scroll, understand this. Not about the salt. Have you ever had those nights where your body just won't shut off? You're tired, but you're wired. Your mind just keeps going. Your body feels tense. Maybe your sleep hasn't been that great, and you can't figure out why. I want you to try something with me. You'll take a small amount of salt. You'll spread it on the inside of your socks. You'll put your feet in it. You'll just stand there for a moment. Don't overthink it. Just feel it. Because what's happening right now is powerful. The bottom of your feet are one of the most neurologically dense areas in your entire body. It's packed with thousands of nerve endings, mechanoreceptors that respond to pressure, thermoreceptors that respond to temperature. And all the sensory input is constantly being sent straight up your spinal cord to your brain. But most of the day, that system is understimulated. Your feet are in shoes, flat surfaces, very little variation, almost like that part of your brain is asleep. But when those tiny salt crystals press against your skin, especially as you gently shift your weight, you create this surge of sensory input. It's like flipping on the switch of your nervous system. Now, here's where it becomes even more important. Especially at night, your body is supposed to shift into a parasympathetic state. That's your rest, recovery, and healing mode. This is where your heart rate slows down, your breathing deepens, your muscles relax, and your body prepares for deeper sleep. But the problem is this. Most people never fully get there because they stay stuck in a low-level stress response, scrolling, thinking, worrying, holding tension in their body. So when you stimulate the bottom of your feet like this, you especially with that little warmth building inside that sock, you're sending a strong signal back to your brain. You're helping to interrupt that stress state and nudging your body toward relaxation. I want you to test this out. Don't just listen to me. Stand there for about 60 seconds. Move your feet slightly. Feel the pressure, then sit down. Close your eyes and notice your body. Notice your breathing. Notice your shoulders drop even a little bit more. If your body feels just a bit calmer, because that shift right there, that's your nervous system. It's changing. And that's what sets the stage for better sleep, better recovery, and a body that finally feels like it's working within you. Now listen carefully. This is not curing a cold, it's not killing a virus, but when your body feels off, run down, or like it's heading in the wrong direction, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is give your nervous system the right input. And sometimes this simple thing that you're doing can make a big difference than you think. So try it tonight. Come back and tell me what you felt, because once you start paying attention to these small signals, you'll start to realize that your body has been trying to slow down all along. It just needed the right trigger. I hope this video.
All right. So salt in your socks. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? But all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem and Mashiach Yahushai. That's how we're gonna end it. You know what I'm saying? You know, need more than the WAP. You know, all of us need to, you know, do a little bit more, aim higher. You know what I'm saying? Aim to be on them chariots. And you know, a lot of stuff's going on. Meteors, so-called meteors falling out the sky. Can't call it. And then, of course, it seems like America's about to go back to war with Iran. So it's about to get crazy. Leave a like, a comment. You know what I'm saying? It costs you nothing, but I definitely would appreciate it. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Mashiach Yahushai, Kwom Yashala. We got next. Shalom.
Shalom.
All praises.
Come. All praises.
Come.
House of Israel. HOI till chariots fly.